Now, if you've ever watched 2 or more series of the Pokemon anime, a question that may have cropped up once or twice in your head is, hey, why is this dude Ash Ketchum not aging at all? Is he using some sort of powerful moisturizing cream stopping those wrinkles from appearing on his face? Or is he just some superhuman dude that just doesn't age? Well, you are not alone. It turns out that a lot of people have actually had this same thought process. Some people have thought about it so much that a lot of fans have created some crazy theories to try and explain why Ash Ketchum has never really aged past 10 years old. So with that being said, today's video is going to go over 5 fan theories which basically try and explain why Ash Ketchum never ages in the Pokemon anime. Now, let me know what you guys think about these theories. Some of them are actually really good and they've got some pretty good evidence behind supporting the reason of why Ash Ketchum never ages, and some are a little bit more far-fetched. Needless to say though, if you guys are excited for this video, please do drop a like down below. It really does help out the video, the channel, all that good stuff. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date, and follow my Twitter to hear updates about the channel. Both of those links can be found in the description down below. Now, without further ado though, guys, let's get into the video and take a look at some fan theories which try and explain this crazy phenomenon. Okay, so the first fan theory that we're going to be taking a look at today is pretty dark, to be fair, and it's just saying how Ash is actually already dead. You know, he's dead, he's been dead this whole time, which is why Gastly, Haunter, and Gengar tried to play with him in Lavender Town. In this theory, it basically says that ghost Pokemon can travel between the physical and spiritual realms and could sense that he was dead too. That's also why in a later episode, Ash and Brock were able to see the ghost waiting for her husband like later on in the Pokemon anime. But this kind of does have a lot of evidence behind it, because obviously Ash has died quite a few times in the anime. I mean, he's pretty much died in the first episode. Obviously, when Gastly, Haunter, and Gengar picked his, ghost out of his body, he's drowned, he's been frozen. Everything's kind of happened to Ash. So if one of those points he died, he never actually came back to life, and he kind of just, he's in sort of some like dream state or something like that. But that's pretty much what this theory kind of tackles. He's basically saying that, hey, Ash died, he's always been dead, and it's kind of a bit dark and disturbing for a children's show. Pokemon is aimed towards children, so I don't think this is going to be, the key to the answer of why Ash Ketchum never ages. It's kind of just like a more of a dark, disturbing kind of theory for this whole situation. But hey, it's still a fan theory, and it does take the number 5 spot in today's top 5 video. Our number 4 Pokemon fan theory to explain why Ash Ketchum never ages is a little bit less dark and disturbing than him just being dead, and it's all about Celebi messing up with his timeline. Now, a few people have the idea that Ash being stuck as a 10-year-old is due to some interference from the legendary Pokemon Celebi. So in the 4th Pokemon movie, Pokemon Forever, I'm not sure if you've seen it, it's a very good movie though, I definitely recommend you check it out, but we basically see that Celebi is capable of transporting both people and Pokemon through time who appear as different ages in different timelines. Obviously, we saw the whole thing about Professor Oak being Ash's age, and then Oak meeting Ash as 10 years old, which kind of also goes off on another tangent. Obviously, Professor Oak gave Pikachu to Ash, and Professor Oak would have known that he's going to meet Ash, kind of in the past, because obviously the Celebi whole thing, but obviously it's just kind of a weird thing. That's just a whole different thing for its own. It's just, again, like universe and timelines being not crossed. But anyway, it makes sense though when you think about how often Pokemon is totally out there to screw with people. But yeah, so basically this theory just goes into detail to say that because Celebi transport Ash through time, everything like that, it really messed up his timeline, and so he basically stays as a 10-year-old because he's been transported back in the past. He was 10 and now in the future he's 10, and it's just kind of one of those weird, timeline, future, past kind of things, Back to the Future kind of thing. It's all to do that is, it's kind of difficult to go into, but that's basically the synopsis of this theory. Celebi messed up Ash's timeline, and so now Ash is always 10 years old. Our next fan theory, which tries to explain why Ash never ages and is always stuck as a 10-year-old, is all about Mewtwo freezing Ash in time. Now, earlier on in the video, we went over Ash being killed or, dying, and that's the whole reason that he doesn't age. But one of those times that Ash technically died was when Mewtwo froze him in Mewtwo Strikes Back. Now, do you guys remember, obviously, when Ash was petrified to stone in Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back? It was that scene where obviously he runs into the middle of, Mew and Mewtwo destroying each other. There's a big psychic ball going on. Ash is like, no, stop, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. I'm coming out there to stop you guys. Runs in, big psychic blast, kaboom, Ash is turned to stone. everyone starts crying, you know, he comes back to life, it's all good stuff, but yeah, you kind of remember the scene. You can't really forget that scene, it's pretty emotional. But anyway, one fan theory makes sense of Ash's state of being stuck as a 10-year-old body by explaining that when he got caught up in that whole mess, he actually died again, essentially freezing him in time for the entirety of the series. So basically this ties together the relation of him being frozen by Mewtwo and literally being frozen in time from that point on. So because he was petrified and turned to stone, his body was frozen as a 10-year-old, and even though he did, you know, come back to life because of crying, apparently that somehow would make you, you know, not be stone anymore, it doesn't actually, you know, destroy the effect of him still being frozen. So that is why he is a frozen 10-year-old in time, and that's why he never ages. Again, it's a pretty cool fan theory. It's better than, you know, him just being dead, but again, still pretty dark and disturbing for, you know, the Pokemon anime, which is aimed at children. But and again, it's a pretty cool theory as to why Ash never ages. Our next fan theory that tries to explain why Ash Ketchum doesn't age in the Pokemon anime is probably something you guys have heard about, and it's actually Ash being in a coma. Now, again, this is another dark and disturbing fan theory. People have some pretty messed up ideas when it comes to this 10-year-old Pokemon trainer, but again, it still kind of makes sense. So basically, in a rather dark creepypasta fan theory, Ash's Pokemon adventures are the result of him falling into a coma. So you guys all remember his bike accident in the very first episode of the Pokemon anime, and some people think that, hey, instead of him just getting up and being absolutely fine and everything like that, he actually ended up in hospital suffering a huge, you know, head injury, and he basically remains in a comatose state, and the episodes of the audience sees are actually his dreams. So these dreams are journeys through his own mental barriers, which he must come to terms with before waking up from his coma, or else he will suffer extreme brain damage. This theory basically explains the socialist comforting world, even though it's, you know, full of scary Pokemon monsters, and explains that the characters surrounding Ash are all manifestations of his own inner psyche. So I'm talking about like Team Rocket, Brock, Misty, you know, everyone like that, but he's basically made them all up in his head, and he's just in this coma, and he still actually is aging, but, you know, in this coma he's just a 10-year-old, and it would be kind of a crazy end to the anime. Obviously, first episode, yeah, got my Pikachu going down, bike accident, boom, end of the anime because he's in a coma, so that wouldn't really make sense, but it's still a really cool fan theory, and I think it definitely has a lot of evidence, and yeah, I was really interested to find out more about this. But again, it's a really cool idea as to why Ash doesn't age in the Pokemon anime and for why he is always 10 years old. Our final Pokemon fan theory that tries to explain why Ash doesn't age in the Pokemon anime is probably the most plausible one of the 5 that we've gone over today, and it's all about the Ho-Oh theory of eternal happiness. Now, this is a pretty heartwarming theory against like all the really dark and disturbing ones we've already gone over in this video, but it's like I say, it's a nice one. So when Ash started his journey, he saw a Ho-Oh, and as a Pokedex entry on the legendary bird Pokemon states, is that its feathers grant eternal happiness, and Ash's idea of eternal happiness will obviously to be 10 forever and catch Pokemon and journey across the land and become a Pokemon master. So basically, a lot of people think that Ho-Oh granted Ash's wish to, you know, keep him as a 10-year-old. It doesn't really explain why nobody else in the anime kind of ages around him, but again, maybe Ash also wished that no one of his friends aged either, so he could always be with friends. I don't know, it's kind of one of those weird theories, but it kind of makes a lot of sense, because obviously Ho-Oh's Pokedex entry does state that he does grant eternal happiness, Ash's eternal happiness, be a Pokemon trainer forever. It does make a lot of sense, so that is why I do think it is the most plausible theory of the 5 that we've gone over today. Before we end today's video though, I did want to go over a couple more fan theories about this whole situation, which aren't exactly plausible, but I still wanted to go over just because it's funny looking at them. Some of them are that, you know, Ash Ketchum is a Time Lord. It's kind of like a cross between Ash Ketchum, you know, the Pokemon anime, and Doctor Who. Ash being a Time Lord, all that, which is why he never ages. Another theory goes into detail about Ash not being a human and he's actually a Ditto. I don't know, it's just one of those things. You find some pretty weird stuff out when researching videos like these. Another one is that he's actually a vampire, which is why he never ages. There's a lot of weird theories, but I don't think Ash is a Time Lord, a Ditto, or a vampire. I think it's much more likely he's just been granted eternal happiness from a giant bird, which again seems pretty far-fetched, but does make a lot more sense than Ash being a vampire. I've never seen those teeth stick out like that. But anyway, just like some more funny fan theories that I thought I'd go over with you guys. But with that, it does wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you did enjoy the video though, please do leave a like. I would really appreciate it. Like I said at the start of the video, I would also love to hear your guys' opinions too on this subject. If I've missed any other fan theories about Ash Ketchum never aging, please let me know about them in the comment section below. I do have a couple videos coming onto your screen in a second, so be sure to give them a watch if you do have the time. And also subscribe if you do enjoy my content, you did enjoy today's video. That is everything from me though, guys, so thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and until next time, guys, peace.